Hey guys, this video is for our 2nd through 4th grade leaders for October week 1, and this week our story is called Basket Case, and it's going to be all about Moses. This new month we have a new theme called Talent Show, Brave the Stage, and all month long our life app is about courage, being brave enough to do what you should do even when you're afraid. And our new memory verse for the month is be strong and brave, do not be afraid, do not lose hope. I am the Lord your God, I will be with you everywhere you go. Joshua 1:9. So jumping into our leader guide, we'd love for you to join us at 8:20 and 10:20 in the garage door room for coffee and donuts, just to pray together. It's just a really great time to gather together as a team. If you can't make that though, for sure be into your small group area by 8:30 and 10:30 so that you can know you've got everything ready to go for when your kiddos start to come your way. When service starts at 8:40 and 10:40, as kids start to roll in, make it personal. So make sure you know each kid's name. Try to learn something new about your kids in your group during this time, and definitely help first-time guests to feel welcomed while they're there. And then what you're going to do for your little icebreaker is you're going to have one kid start a random story by saying the first sentence. And it can be about anything, as long as it's appropriate. And then tell the kid to his left to say the next sentence of the story. And then continue this way until time runs out or the story is just utter nonsense. And if it gets too crazy, then start a new story. But before you move on, point out that even though everyone got to come up with part of the story, no one knew what would happen next because the person next to them was in charge of what was going to happen next. Because that's kind of our whole bottom line for this week. Oh, I forgot to say that. Our story this week is all about Moses when he was born, how the Pharaoh had put out a decree that all the babies had to be killed, but Moses' mom decided to keep him secretly, and then eventually she put him in a basket in the river, and Pharaoh's daughter found him and raised him. And so the bottom line for this week is you can do what you should even when you don't know what will happen next. And that's what Moses' mom had to do. So your interactivity is called What Happens Next, and you're going to have these little pictures. They're actually folded in half on your carts, and you're only going to show kids the before side, and you're going to say, what do you guys think is going to happen next? And then after they make their guesses, you'll flip it over and show them the after side. So there's girl swinging. What do you think is going to happen next? Oh, she fell down. Birthday cake walking into dad. What's going to happen next? Oh, yep, she tripped over the box. There, he's skateboarding. What's gonna happen next? He landed it. Yay. And then I'm gonna send you some links for some videos where actually I think Ellen has them on Ellen Tube, and it's kind of like it pauses like right when the thing's about to happen, and it's like a pass or a fail. Are they gonna fall, or do they make it successful? And I'll send you the links to those videos, and you can show those to your kids if you'd like to, if you've got time. So you're just gonna say, so in these situations, sometimes you guessed right about what would happen next, and sometimes you didn't. But truly, nobody really knows what would happen next until it actually happened. We're gonna go to a large group where we'll hear more about what to do when you don't know what will happen next. So then head down to large group. I'm actually the storyteller for this week, and we have a host, so it's gonna be a great story. We're actually going old school and using a felt board, like old school Sunday school class. So I'm excited about that. I think it'll be fun. So when kids get back from large group, their review activity is they're going to be doing something called What's Next comic strips, and then you'll need some colored pencils or crayons or markers or whatever. And you're going to give each kid an activity page. It looks like this, and you can see it starts with that, and then it has 2 blank spaces. Then the next one starts like that, has 2 blank spaces, and then the third one they can make up all their own. So you're going to tell kids that there are 3 comic strips on this page, and 2 of them have been started for them, and 1 is completely up to them. And you're going to explain that each of the 3 comic strips is or should be about a scenario where someone starts out being afraid of what might happen next. So the first scene shows a situation with the kid who's afraid and like scared to go out on the stage. And then the second scene shows the second, like the empty box, will show what they do to help them face that fear, and then the third box should say what is the result or what happens next. So maybe, for instance, in this first one, she's scared behind the curtain. Maybe in the second one she says a little prayer, or her mom is there and says you can do it, and then she in the third one walks out on the stage and sings. So you're going to ask kids what they think the first scene is doing, and then ask them to think about what she might do to give her strength, and then have them draw the third scene of what they're doing. Repeat that for the second, and then on the third one, they can maybe think of something that happened in their own life or just make up something on their own. And then you'll close this down by saying, so guys, there are a lot of times in life when things are uncertain and we might be afraid because we don't know what will happen next or how things will turn out. And this could be things like, and you could mention some of the things that the kids drew, or even share your own story about a time when you didn't know how something was going to turn out. What we need to remember is that God is always with us and He always knows what will happen next. And you know what? What happens next won't always be good. But even so, God is always with us during whatever is happening, and He will help us. And because of that, you can do what you should even when you don't know what will happen next. So then for the memory verse activity, this is a fun little activity. First, you're going to pass out Bibles and help kids look up the memory verse in their Bible, kind of teaching them how to go to the index and look up where Joshua, the book of Joshua is, and finding chapter 1, verse 9. And then you're going to give each kid three ping pong balls and a Ziploc baggie. And you're going to have some permanent markers, and you're going to have kids write their memory verse on the ping pong balls. So you're going to tell kids to write the first sentence of the verse on 2 ping pong balls. So they'll kind of split it up. So be strong and brave. Do not be afraid. Oh, so they're just going to write that first line, be strong and brave. So one ping pong ball might say be, and then the next one might say strong, and the last ping pong ball might say and brave. It doesn't matter how they split it up. One of their ping pong balls will have 2 words on it, so it doesn't really matter how they do that. And then you're going to show kids how to juggle one ball, and you can show them yourself, or you can show them a little juggling tutorial, and then have kids juggle one ball, and then have them try to juggle with 2 balls, have them try it, then have them juggle 3 balls, have them try it. And it's highly unlikely that anybody's going to do it, but that's okay. You can just try for fun. And encourage kids to say the words of the verse as they juggle, and then they can take their ping pong balls home, put them in their baggie to take home. So write their name on their baggie and have them take them home. So be strong and brave, be strong and brave, be strong and brave. That's kind of what they're repeating. So you'll close it down by saying that was so much fun, and juggling isn't easy, but you guys were kind of starting to get the hang of it. So I want you to take these balls home and practice some more. And while you're practicing, make sure that you say the verse. And remember that God wants you to be strong and God wants you to be strong and brave. And that's so much more important than learning how to juggle. And when you're strong and brave, you can do what you should, even when you don't know what will happen next. Then you have some optional small group discussion questions. What do you think is the main reason that people worry? Is there ever a time when it's good to be scared? Of course there is. What's something a follower of Jesus never has to worry about? And how might worry help our faith and faith help our worry? Then to close it down in prayer, you want to give kids their ping pong balls and tell them to set the balls in verse order in front of them. So be strong and brave. And then tell kids to use the verse to pray and ask God to help them be strong and brave. And give them a little short time to just kind of silently pray. And then you'll just close it down with the prayer below. So that is it for this week, guys. It's pajama day, so make sure wear your comfy clothes if you'd like to, if you feel comfortable doing that. If not, no big deal. But the kids will probably mostly be in their pajamas, so feel free to do that. It's going to be a fun day. I'm really looking forward to October. It's going to be a super great month here at Oak Ridge Kids. Thank you guys so much for serving. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.